Good morning and welcome back to my channel. This is Nancy and you're joining me on my YouTube channel, Wishes and Weeds. So when we met yesterday, I created this title page for my journal. And it's going to be a little tall, but what I'm hoping is that in time these edges will break off. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, I'm giving you a little preview here. So tomorrow I'm starting a brand new series called Brown Paper to Beautiful. So all of my projects this week are going to involve brown packaging paper or brown paper bags. I also use a lot of wrappings from paper towels that we get at work. That's also excellent packaging. Primarily, I'm going to be using scrap paper, cast-offs, scraps of lace that I have hanging around, and yeah, taking things that we just hang on to because I'm sure they'll come in use sometime. And creating something really simple but elegant and vintage looking. Brown wrapping paper was something that was used a lot for tracing patterns and writing down messages and recipes and things back in the day when we didn't have as much paper as we do now. I'm hoping we start to use less paper in our day-to-day lives. As long as I still have paper to create with, that's okay with me. So I got this packaging in Amazon order Doug made earlier this week. What did he get? I think he got new earbuds. Yeah, it was a big box, and then the earbuds were like in this size box. So I got quite a lot of paper. I've just cut it down to usable sizes, and then I'll be cutting it down further to be the correct size for the journal. So I'm going to start with this. And let's cut it down. So I have a big ruler here that I like to use. And the height of the pages is going to be 10 1/4. So I'm just going to square off one side. And I'll flip it over. Oh, and I'm going to hit the camera. And 10 1/4. Now the width, I believe the width was 7 1/4. Let me just measure the front of this book again. I think I'm going to go 7. when I was working on that title page, I was going through some tea-dyed book pages, and I found this one, and I thought, I'm just going to tear off the edge and glue that down as a background. Okay. I always like to add a little extra dab in the corners. Maybe I'll do it inside. And I'll put it a little askew. And I'm not going to go right to the edge with the glue, because I want the edge to lift up a bit and maybe tear. Just make sure I don't have any bubbles on this side. Okay. Now on this side, I want to make some pockets. So I'm going to grab some lace. I'm just going to put this page up so I can work on this. So this is actually a scrap that I brought home from work. Looks like I spilled something on it. And it is wrapping for paper towels. Like paper towels were in there. So what I want to do is make a full page pocket, so we know I need it to be 10.5. Oh gosh, I hit it again. Sorry. Okay, and I have no idea where this came from, but it's an oldie but a goodie. So I'm going to cut a piece. I'll cut some of this off, this extra stuff. I think I want this to be not crooked. This is crooked. And I want it to be just about the full 7 inches. Okay. I've got some thread here that I don't need. And you're probably giggling at me thinking, Nancy, how are you resisting the urge to iron? I just am. Okay. So I want that like that. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of glue stick down here. I'm going to let that set up for a minute while I go refill my coffee cup. Okay. I don't want this attached too tightly to the paper, so I'm just going to mainly focus on the edges and I guess the top. Like that. I'm going to tear a little bit off here. Perfect. Okay. Trying to decide how I want to cut that off. So I hope everybody's had a pretty good week. It's actually Saturday as I record this, very early Saturday morning. Have no big plans today, except working on my journal. Okay. Now, guess I didn't have that glued down just just so now I want to add a little bit of collage of fabrics. So I have that, and not that. I thought I brought more with me. I gotta get more fabric. Got some dirty old lace. This is a part of a scarf. I'm just going mainly neutrals. Start there. And then a little thick. See if I got something a little more color. I might add that, I might not. Okay. Now, my situation is I'm going to go to my sewing machine. I'm going to use dark brown, what do you call that stuff? Thread? And I'm just going to do some stitching around this edge and some stitching around these pieces. So we'll see how that turns out. I hope it turns out the way I've got it in my brain. You're not going to believe this. My thread's empty. I had to wind the bobbin, refill the bobbin. And yeah, I am going out a little later, so I will definitely get some more thread. But for the time being, what I'm going to do is I want to prep some paper for another project. So I can do it one or two ways. I can either glue two pieces of packing paper together, but I also thought I would glue it to this. I think this is like painter's paper, you know. Just because I have a lot of it, I thought maybe I'd use that up a bit. So again, I'm not going to be too precious about making sure it all gets on. And that doesn't need to be a firm adhesion. Gotta move my coffee. Yeah, I gotta go to the office this morning for a Zoom call. I know it's Saturday, but gotta do what I gotta do. And there is a sewing store in the mall, directly kitty corner to the office, so I can stop in there and get some thread. This is some of that paper towel wrapper. This is packing paper because I can tell by the serrated edge there, or perforated edge, I guess. Sewing is done on this one. Strangely, I went to the sewing store and the thread I had was Gutermann. It's so old that they don't have that color anymore. And in fact, they don't print the colors on the spool anymore. So anyway, I did okay. So I went ahead and did the stitching, and that way the stitching doesn't go through to the other side. Oh, I'm glad I opened that up because I want it to go on the front. So I'm just going to use some of this stuff. 3-in-1, or it's Fabri-Tac actually, but whatever. So you see with the little random scraps, I just, oh, sorry, I'm trying to put the pin in here. Wow. I just went scrap by scrap and stitched it on. Nothing neat about it. In fact, I reverse stitched in a couple places. and left this open as a little pocket, a little pocket. And then of course this will be a big pocket. Okay, I'll come back to this. Now, I want to use these. So I'm going to cut these down to 7. Let's measure. Exactly 7. I'm going to cut these down to 7-inch strips. And then I'm just going to layer them. I mean, I can't do all 4. And this one, I just might want to go this direction. I might actually, piece of glitter on there, pink glitter. I might actually just want to go there, and then I can put stuff that way and stuff that way. And then maybe hold the phone. I'm gonna go with just these 2. Hopefully I can get this paper off. Oh yeah, because that's a good scrap. I'm gonna cut off the top. That didn't come out right, did it? Yeah, maybe it did. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to glue this in place, and then I'll go around the page. I got some extra bobbins while I was at the sewing store. All right. I'll use this glue. I'm going to do it this way. Don't need a lot of glue because I am going to sew. All right. You know what? I'm going to put the cut edge on the bottom. Perfect. I will sew. And there's those two pockets. Now, I do have a plan for this page, but I won't be able to complete that until after Tuesday, because the next part of my plan will be my project for a brown paper project on my video Tuesday. So that's what we accomplished today. So I hope you'll get out your bits and scraps and some brown paper and see what you can make beautiful. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.